Hi folks, Kyle here. We're going to get started with using Canvas Studio, and I've got a little video for you about how we get that up and going and then how we get into it and use some very basic editing tools as we are getting started. So let's dive in. I'm on my dashboard here. We go over and click the Studio icon in our global menu. It takes us right into Studio. Here, if you have previously recorded videos like I do, they show up as these little cards. This is my library. Not really what we want to focus on at the moment. We want to focus on editing tools. Before we do that, I need to make a quick recording. I can do that from here as well. Up in the upper right-hand corner, I can click the record button, and then I want to select either a screen capture or webcam capture. I just want to do a screen cap here so that we have something to work with. If you haven't loaded Canvas Studio onto your machine, you'd be prompted to do so at that point. I already have it, and so we see my recording tools come up because it's already loaded on my machine. Here I can choose what type of capture that I want to do. I can play around with the size of the recording window a little bit if I want to. I can record narration or not. You see I've switched the default setting to off, so I don't want the narration for this particular recording, but this is where you would select your microphone device and check to see that it's engaged. Also too, if we want to record computer sounds, this is where we do. I believe the default is yes, and I do want the sounds this time, but if you don't want them, then you might want to click no. So I am then going to click the record button. We'll get a 3, 2, 1 countdown. And then I'm going to navigate to my page that I'm recording. You'll see there's a little pause button down here. That's when I either want to pause the recording or stop it. So I'm going to get this going here. And I purposely turn the sound down on this YouTube clip. I'm just going to get a segment of this particular video. One of my favorites from Avengers Endgame. I knew it. Okay, I think that's enough. And so you saw when I click the pause button here, I get a number, the toolbar pops up again. And here, if I wanted to go back or forth and to review parts of what I've recorded and perhaps re-record portions of it again, I can do so. I don't need to at this point. Likewise, too, if I click this on, some drawing tools would come up. And so if I wanted to draw along with portions of the video, I could do so. I can delete it. But here, I want to actually engage the editing tools, and so perhaps counterintuitively, I'm going to click Done. And a screen pops up here, which is going to allow me to do a layer of basic edits. Let's just pull that down and expand it so that you can see it. And here, I'm prompted to give this a title and a description and upload. The editing tools we're going to get to here. If I want to redo it or cancel it, that's fine. But the very first set of editing tools that I want to help you to are down here on what we call the timeline. And you see these little grab bars on this bar to the furthest right and the furthest left. This is going to allow me to trim my video just sort of automatically. So I'm going to go ahead and take advantage of that because we can see that there, there's nothing here, nothing here, nothing here, nothing here, and nothing here. And suddenly there's some, this is the markings of an audio recording that's been captured from my screen recording. So I've got all this dead space here, so I might as well go ahead and trim that off. And so we're going to then trim it. All right. So I've made actually then my first edit, which is Cool. Now I'm going to make some further edits. Now if I wanted to just go ahead, if I was finished with that, I could give it a title, description, and then click the upload button, and that process would start, take, in this particular case, because it's such a short video clip, 27 seconds, it would just take a couple of seconds to load it up into Canvas Studio, and then it would appear as a title card in your library. We don't want to do that yet. We want to show you a couple of more of these editing tools on a macro level. So I'm going to click the Edit button. And now we're in the editing interface. It's broken up into 3 portions. So we have the main video, or what I would call the main stage, that's occupying most of the screen in the middle here. We have the timeline down at the bottom, and we have our playhead or scrubber, which is this vertical line that can be moved to any point of the video, and you see the time track there that gives us a very precise time. So if I want to take a look and see the very second when Captain America lifts Thor's hammer, the first time we see it, we can, there it is. And here he is. Perfect, right? Anyways, that's kind of how that works. And then over here, what I would call the properties panel, that's going to change a little bit, and some additional panels might show up as we click different parts of the main stage. So that's just kind of a quick orientation to the editing interface. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to give this recording a name, and let's just call it Cap Mjolnir. I think that's the way that we spell and pronounce Thor's hammer. And then what I want to do is I want to do some basic cropping. So I'd like to get all of this kind of white space and all of the YouTube suggestions for me. I'd like to get that out and just kind of focus on this screen. I can do that. So I'm going to click, and we see in the main stage, and we see that this additional panel shows up. And here it's kind of cool. If we wanted to zoom in or zoom out, we can do that. We can resize the video if we want to do that. We can crop it, which is one of the things that I'm going to do. And so as soon as I click crop, I see like my crop bars come up, and so I'm just going to see if I can just get that square. Now you can see that some red background is appearing. When you first do this, it's probably going to default to a gray. And that's what happens when you crop a video. And I wouldn't suggest doing this necessarily, because what's going to show up on your video is this entire screen, red, and what I'm getting here from the screen capture. But if you need to do that, and I'm just going to assume that this time I do, we do have a couple of tools here to make that look as nice as is possible. And so this red background is something I've selected. It's over here, this little circle up above or underneath the heading of Canvas. And I can change the color of this background. Oh, that blue kind of looks nice. Yeah, that kind of matches. That's cool. And then I can center this a little bit. And so if we have to crop out, resize portions of a video, there's a way that we can do that and make it look, decent and presentable. Now in this case, I think I can probably resize this to a point. Let's see how much of this I can actually get in. Okay, I'll put this up in the corner, and let's see if I pull this down, whether I preserve the aspect ratio. Almost. And so probably what I would want to do is I'll just see if I can pull that down. I'm not sure I can. Yep, I can. Right, so that's probably then the way that I would do it, just so that I wouldn't have that background. But nevertheless, if you didn't want to do that and you wanted to preserve that blue background that I put in, that's fine. So now that I'm done with those modifications, I'm going to click OK. And then we're back to, sort of our main editing thing. Real technical point there, editing thing. So there are a couple of other things that I want to help you to, and that is our editing tools are actually found here in association with our playhead or our scrubber. And you can see that the tool little bar there is available. And we have a whole bunch of tools here, which we're gonna use all of them. I'm going to demonstrate all of them in time. But that toolbar, which is I guess the fourth part of the interface, is available here, and it follows the playhead, which is kind of cool. The other thing that I want to show you is that we can use this magnifying glass on the timeline if we really want to zero in on a certain aspect of the video. We're going to click this, and then we see a graduated part of the timeline kind of shows up under at the lower part of it, and we can click these squares, which allows us then to zoom in even further, which can be very helpful if you want to fine-tune, find a particular part of a video and edit it. So that's available to you. I'm just going to put it back. So we're just going to go back here. Okay, so that's pretty much it for this video. It's just kind of the layout of Canvas Studio, how to trim the opening and the closing of a video if you wanted to do it, and then if you wanted to make crops of your major part of your video, that's how we would do it. When we're happy and we're finished, we're going to click Done, and then we're prompted again to give this a title, give it a description, and then once we do that, we would click Upload, and the upload process will start. Now, I'm going to be reusing this video, so I'm not going to actually do that yet because we want to use some more of the tools, but that's how we would go about making some very basic edits using Canvas Studio. Hope this video is helpful. I hope you are interested enough to tune into the next video where we start to take a detailed look at some of those additional tools that we highlighted in the toolbar. See you then.